Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Joe Brown here at Financial Wellness University, and I am here to give you practical advice and tools and techniques to achieve financial wellness. And today I'm going to give you some tips on how to improve your monthly budgeting of utility bills. And it might not sound all that exciting by first listening to it, but if you listen to the end, you might learn some things that will allow you to have better control over your bills and give you more savings. And if you have more saving, you have more potential for wealth building. So if that's something that you are interested in, stay with me. As I said, we're going to look at some practical tips on improving your monthly budget and how you spend on your utility bills. Now, if you're like me, the climate can change drastically from season to season. So your bill for the different utilities can be like a roller coaster. For instance, in the wintertime, my heating bill is very high, but in the summertime, it's very low. So I used to get bills like $300-$400 for heating in the wintertime. And this is, now you might not all have gas. Some of you just have electric and water. But if you have gas, or if you have whatever you have, there's a way of improving upon it. Now, as far as gas is concerned, the heating using gas in the wintertime, of course, the furnace is on more often and you're burning more gas. Whereas in the summertime, the only time you're using gas is maybe for the dryer or just some cooking, but you're cooking year round and you're using dryer year round. So the major thing that's driving a high gas bill is the using of it to heat the home. So the way you get around that, or the way that you fix that roller coaster of high-low, is you call a utility company and say, can they put you on a budget plan? Now, what does that mean? A budget plan, say for instance, you paid $400 one month and $20 one month, and at the end of the year, it totaled to around, let's just say for even numbers, $1,200. That was your total bill for the year for any particular utility. Well, what you do is you call a utility company, say, do you offer a budget plan? So they look at your spending over the last year or two or three, or however they figure it out, and give you an average. So now, rather than your bill being $400 one month and $21 month, they give you an average bill and say that you pay $100 every month. Well, when you pay $100 every month, in the summertime, you're paying a little extra so that when winter comes, you've built up a reserve that they can draw from and keep that payment level. So in your budget, you can better get a handle of your budget, because you're not used to paying a little bit, and then all of a sudden this quadrupled bill comes in, and now you're struggling to try to figure out how you're going to pay it. So the way to get around that is to get that budget billing. If you ask for that budget billing, if they don't offer that, you can do your own budget billing by getting your average bill, right? Getting your average bill over the last year. All you got to do is total up what you paid over the last year, divide it by 12, and begin sending. So, for instance, now, of course, if your payment is say 100, you can't send 50, because then you get late penalties and all that. So, but if your bill is higher, you can even set aside money. You can set your budget for that average. And then, so that way you can set aside that money. Now, what I wouldn't recommend paying them extra because they would just apply it to the next month's bill. So it wouldn't average out over the whole year. But you can set your budget for the average. That way, if you spent, say, $1,200 again for the whole year, you set your budget for $100 per month, even though, sometimes it can be 50 or 40. But if you can get the utility company to make that your budget, that would be even stronger. But if your utility company doesn't offer a budget billing program, then you set your own budget so that you set that money aside. Now, if you want the person that would spend it, put it aside, put in a separate account so that when those big bills come, you can draw from that surplus account that you have of utility bills and draw upon that and increase your. So also, when it comes to like subscriptions like cable and things like that, you should be calling at least every year to see if there's a different plan. And some of them keep you on a certain commitment for a year or two, but you can always call and see if you can. They're always willing to upgrade you. They may not be willing to downgrade you, but sometimes the plans change where they can offer you better services for the same amount of money. So now if you're off a subscription, then you definitely need to call regularly to make sure, or check other providers and see if their service can get the same amount of service for less. And so shop around always. If you have more than one option for these monthly bills, then shop around regularly. Now, these are some just practical ways of lowering your bills and also just getting a better handle of it, because one of the things that throws people off in a budget is items that are greater than the norm, and now you spent more than likely the money that you would have paid for it. So now you're dipping into your savings to pay for something, or you're blowing your budget, and it's frustrating enough to try to follow, and then you constantly blowing it. It could truly upset you, but you don't have to be upset if you follow some guidelines and try to have that average budget for the whole year spread over those 12 months. And you'll see how spending like this really helps to solidify and help your budgeting for the whole year go a little smoother. So I hope this has helped, and if you haven't done so already, hit that like button and subscribe so you'll get the latest videos at Financial Wellness University. Thank you for watching, and God bless.